What is up, everybody, and welcome back to NXT Round Up 2.0. It is your boy, the dad bod god himself, the bald, the beard, and the fucking beautiful Piers Austin. And tonight, I am joined by a very special guest host because your boy, the one-ton sex machine, rewind. We're on live. We don't give a fuck. We'll go backwards. The Burger King, Glenn Sexton, couldn't be here tonight. We wish him well. We wish him a speedy recovery. He ain't feeling well, but tonight, my very good friend joins me, Mr. Karlifornia. Welcome, brother.
What is going on, bro? How are you, man?
Man, I'm excited to have you on, man. You are the man on the West Coast, and I am the man on the East Coast of Australia. And why not do an NXT review show with you this evening, just after Christmas here in Australia? We'll just pass Boxing Day as well. But man, look, thank you for joining me tonight, man. You know, this week's NXT. You know, I always find with NXT, the show itself is either hit or miss. It's either like they have a really solid week and then like there's no follow-up from it. You know what I'm saying? Like then they'll have another good week and then they'll have another, average couple weeks following that. Would you agree to that or disagree?
I would say this, bro. It's kind of like I was doing a review show with NXT for a few weeks there as well. I think we started on the second week of 2.0 and finished up on the episode where Johnny Gargano bowed out. I found during that time period that it never blew my socks off. It never wowed me and made me think, my God, I have to tune in next week. I must be there next week. So it became a bit of a chore, but I will say this in comparison to when I was reviewing Dynamite, at least NXT never really left me fuming, pissed off with my blood pressure going through the roof. So I would say I think NXT is a nice little show, but You're right. I think some weeks it's a bit other weeks it's that was a good episode, but it's definitely not something that blows me away every week.
Man, look, I agree. And bro, this week started, with Grayson Waller cutting a promo. And I think he's definitely one of those standout stars. And, I've seen Grayson perform here in Sydney for PWA as Matty Wahlberg. This guy is a money performer. The first time I saw him perform live, I was just like, this guy is on another level. And you more that you see him, getting those opportunities and you're seeing his sort of style of promo coming out, you can see them giving that little bit. You can see they're giving him a little bit more freedom there, I believe. And because I think that there was a couple of weeks where his promos, I was like, oh, that what's going on there? But then it's like he's able to sort of bring it back. And I think he's one of the best talkers in NXT at the moment. Like hands down, he gets legit heat from the crowd. And I think that most heels today in wrestling, they're more trying to get the pop than anything else. You know what I'm saying? Like it's cool to be a heel, baby. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
But then you've got a performer like Waller who can antagonize that crowd and get that reaction. You know what I'm saying? Like that is what I think's missing in a lot of wrestling today.
Yeah, bro, definitely. I've seen quite the improvement in him from when I first saw him on NXT to today, and it seems like everyone's been talking about him a lot recently, especially with him showing up on Raw and now doing this thing with AJ. But yeah, I thought it was a good way to open the show. I laughed. It's so funny when you hear an Australian on television. I talk to Australians every day. I'm Australian.
Yeah.
But when I hear an Australian on television, the accent just comes out so strong. Like when he called out, yeah, fat asses. Like it's just, I don't know. That really got me that bit. But I did like the promo to open the show for sure.
Yeah, and I think it's definitely they're building with him something special, and they're slowly, gradually doing it. I would have liked to have seen a bit more, and I'm not sure if LA Knight's injured. That's why they sort of have curbed the storyline a little bit. But I would have really liked to have seen a little bit of a feud between the two of them, and actually you could almost kind of see them being forced to be a tag team, like how they did with Sheamus and Cesaro. And I think that would be like a good character building for Waller and also LA Knight. LA Knight is by far, I believe, ready to be on the main stage of WWE. He should be in on Raw. You know what I mean? And SmackDown. He should have at least had a reign as a mid-card champion by now on the top two shows. I think he's at that level of a performer. By far, I think he's probably a main eventer at this stage there. But anyway, he's at NXT. I would have liked to see that, but even now, like Waller getting that opportunity with AJ Styles, that is a huge opportunity. That is a huge moment. AJ Styles, and that you can't go wrong.
Yeah, man. A lot of people throw around the whole saying of best in the world. You know what I mean? And there's other people out there that don't go on about it, and AJ doesn't go on about it, but I think he is. And if Waller, this is a huge opportunity for him. If he can show that he can hang in there with him, and when it comes to this show, New Year's Evil, that's gonna be the big test for him, I think.
I think he'll definitely be able to hang. Like, Waller's had some big matches. You know what I mean? Like, he's wrestled on big shows, and I think this is definitely by far going to be the biggest by a long shot. But I think he's definitely at that level. From talking to people that have known him and trained with him, like, this guy is very dedicated to the craft. You know what I mean? Like, very in tune, knows where he wants to be, and knows where he's going to get to. And that's why you see the success so quickly, because, obviously they see a lot in him and he must be ready for that opportunity.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting, bro. And I wanted to talk about what you mentioned with LA Knight. I was really enjoying that story between the two of them. And I totally also could see them. They're at odds so much, but it gets almost to a point where they start liking each other because they realize that they're both actually quite similar. Hopefully they do continue on with that story before the inevitable happens and LA Knight finally gets on the main roster, and hopefully they don't fuck that one up. You know what I mean?
Oh, 100%. But we saw Waller versus Odyssey Jones. Bro, I feel like Odyssey Jones hasn't even been seen on NXT in months. You know what I mean? Like, they kind of have had him in like little bit spots here and there, but like there's been nothing really from him. The guy looks impressive. He has that sort of larger than life personality. Looks like a big, huge motherfucker as well. You know what I mean? Like, almost like, I don't want to sort of like pinpoint and say it's the next Mark Henry, but I think you've got someone who could be like that of style of performer, but more charismatic.
I totally agree with you, bro. And over the weeks that I was reviewing NXT, it seemed like they just hadn't given him anything. He would kind of start something with like an Andre Chase, and I think he started something with the Diamond Mine as well, and then it just didn't seem to really be followed up on. There's no real solid direction for him. That's how I feel about it. I think that a guy that size, and the athleticism he has at his size, I want to get to know this guy a bit more. I want to get to know the character a bit more. I'm not one of these people that goes on about the size of someone else and how, it's not realistic, because the way that he lost the match was in a realistic kind of sense. But I think someone that size, at this stage, I'd like to see him sink his teeth into something a bit more important on the show.
Yeah, I agree, man. I think he's definitely got the charisma to do it. The wrestling, I think he's a solid worker. Like, he was able to hang in there with Waller. He's been able to hang in there with others like Carmelo Hayes and everyone else I've seen him get in the ring with, man. Like, I haven't been disappointed in his work. The match itself with Waller was a decent match. Waller's, he's going to be booked strong. You know what I mean? Like, it was no surprise that he was going to go over in the match, just because, like, they're not going to have him job out to Odyssey Jones. And, you know what I mean? Like, they're going to build momentum for him going in, to this match against AJ Styles, So I think that this match against AJ is going to really put him on the map.
Definitely, bro. The only thing that I didn't like about the match was the way it finished. I mean, I didn't mind the shot into the exposed turnbuckle. That was fine, but I just didn't like the way I just didn't like the finisher. I didn't like the jump and roll through into a stunner. I don't know. That's just me. I don't think anyone should use that move.
But you know what? It's funny because Glenn, who usually does the show, he puts that over huge, man. What up, Dragon Queen? Thank you for joining. Glenn puts that over huge, man. I don't mind it, man. I think it's a pretty cool, unique way to hit a stunner. And it's different to like an RKO. You know what I mean? Like I think the RKO you can see them more sort of lean back into it, where stunners sort of straight down. So it'd be interesting to see what happens when he gets to the main roster and if Kevin Owens is still there at that time, if they're going to be using it. So.
Right. Yeah. So you mean to tell me every time he hits it's because he rolled in from the outside?
Well, but that's the thing. He hasn't really used it as a finish before, I believe.
Okay. Right. Maybe it was just a once off then. I was going to say, like, he's got to think if that's going to be his finisher, he's not going to be doing that when he's 45 years old. You know what I mean?
Oh, no, 100%. But, after the match, AJ Styles, comes on the screen and says he'll be there at New Year's Evil, setting up between the two. Man, I honestly, I'm really looking forward to this. I think that this is going to be one of those, glue to the TV matches.
Yeah, definitely, bro. It's almost going to be feel a little bit surreal seeing AJ wrestle on NXT. I think that's a pretty cool thing, man.
Oh, 100%, dude. And, we saw backstage Kaylee Ray, Io Shirai, Cora Jade, and Raquel Gonzalez all backstage fighting over who's going to be the number one contender for Mandy Rose's Women's Championship. Mandy Rose, by far, to me, right now, and I've said it the past couple of weeks, we are seeing the best Mandy Rose yet. Like right now, unfold, on our TVs. Everything she's done before that has been okay. You know what I mean? Like, all right. You know what I mean? You're the girl that tripped over walking out to the ring. You know what I mean? Like, that's kind of where, it was being. She had a cute little storyline with Otis, and then, she was off TV. They changed Otis heel, and then what next? And I think she really reinvented herself, come back, different look, brunette, and different sort of character. And driving in a different way, being the leader and having Toxic Attraction there, as you know what I mean, she's not just like someone in the background now. She's now like the top star, and she's the deserving, and her having the run with the championship is deserving, I think, at this stage. But they set up a match for later in the show: Kaylee Ray, Io Shirai versus Cora Jade and Raquel Gonzalez. The winning team will be the two going into the match against New Year's Evil with Mandy Rose. So,
yeah, bro. I agree with you. Isn't it kind of funny? Some people are only as good as the content given for them. So if Mandy Rose is getting given the content necessary to show what she can actually do, who would have thought that would have fucking worked out, right? you have someone like Mickie James on the main roster, you don't give her shit for fucking several years that she's there, then, it looks like that she's got nothing to give. But then you see her on Impact or you see her on NWA, all these shows, and she's killing it out there. So there are these people that have this talent, and finally when they get given that content and they can show us what they're made of.
Exactly, man. And the thing is as well, you look at the main roster of WWE, you've got Charlotte, Becky, Bayley, Asuka. I mean, like, they're the gatekeepers of the women's championship, right? So they're the ones that they're their go-to ones, right? So they'll give other people a taste. You know what I mean? Like, Bianca Belair, she can hold it for a bit. Rhea Ripley, she can hold it for a bit. You know what I mean? But like, we're the gatekeepers, you know what I mean? Like, they're the ones that are trusted. But why don't we start seeing other matches now coming in? Let's start seeing, like, now after you've seen Mandy's run in NXT, when she's finished her run there, going up and then being, a suitable challenger for like a Charlotte or a Becky, and be taken seriously as a main eventer at that stage.
Definitely, bro. And I'm kind of I had some notes as well on this little segment here. This is kind of becoming like one of my biggest pet peeves in wrestling is like people, someone or a tag team or whoever are being interviewed backstage, and within 10, 15 seconds, they're going to be interrupted by someone. Someone's going to walk into the shot, someone else will walk into the shot, there's going to be a confrontation, and then how did Mandy Rose know that those two were going to interrupt? How did she know that was going to happen and she's going to show up on the screen behind? How did she figure that out as well? She's on her phone. Does her phone have a button that she can press that will put herself on that screen? That seems a little strange. I just don't like this kind of thing, bro.
Yeah, I mean, I get what you're saying, but I think most wrestling fans probably won't even acknowledge that sort of stuff or think about it. Where it's like, okay, well, it's just a thing, and it's television, man, timing and everything like that. But I get where you're saying. It's like, like right at that exact time, she has a thing saying, "Oh, hey, ladies, hey, here I am."
So you mean to tell me she's got a screen wherever she is by poolside? She's watching them do this live, and I'm just going to pull my phone up, press this button. There'll be a Bluetooth on that TV screen right behind them, and I'll just cut right in. That just, to me, like other people don't notice that stuff and don't care about it, but for me, it's like fucking hell, man. Can we not think of another scenario where there could be some sort of confrontation that leads to this? Why does it always have to be people are getting interviewed and then 10 seconds in they're getting interrupted by somebody? There has to be other scenarios you can come up with.
Bro, I completely get it. And that's what I want to talk about this next segment, where we saw Zion Quinn doing a promo telling, Electra Lopez to make a choice, him or Legado del Fantasma. First of all, why are they rushing these storylines, bro? Like, what are they rushing for? Like, it feels like just a couple weeks ago they started this sort of storyline that they're working towards something. Why don't you drag it out? Like, you know what I mean? Like, have her come out, get him to win a few matches or something like that. He comes out, helps her, blah, blah, blah. They have these moments for like leading up for weeks. And then it's like you could have, Santos Escobar, who's the heel, right? He's the heel leader of Legado. Have him say, you have to make a choice. You're either Legado or you're with him. You know what I mean? And then at the end, you can either have a massive big heel turn and make him even more hated and, get her over as a heel, or you can have the big romance scene where she chooses love over this and then they can have a big fucking happy life. You know what I mean? Like, that's still another option as well. So you can do two things. You've got two decisions there, which both could work. But then again, do we want to see another love fucking angle on NXT?
Well, I mean, what does the famous Vince Russo say? You got 52 weeks, bro. 52 weeks. You got a lot of time. You need to fill 52 weeks of content. I always hate when they rush through a storyline when you could really just stretch it out and have peaks and valleys. And I think, I don't think it should happen too soon that she should make that decision. I think it should be prolonged a little bit longer, even to the point where she just begs maybe Santos to maybe work with Zion for a little bit and see the power struggle. And then maybe the tag team kind of like Zion's ideas a little bit more than Santos because they're giving him more of a chance. You can do all these little things, these little bits of power play between the two of them, and then it can explode, and then Electra needs to make a choice, and maybe she's made special guest referee for a matchup between the two of them or something like that. You put that on a takeover or whatever.
That's some old school booking and some fucking smart shit too, bro. I have to give you that. Man. But yeah, man, like I just look at it and just go, what the fuck? Like you just started this, like play it out a little bit more, let it gather some momentum, let the audience give a shit about it more. You know what I mean? Like get them to go, what the fuck's going on here? And perfect example of this, and I don't want to sort of get off too much track. Robert Stone, showing up at Von Wagner matches and he's just sort of standing back. You know what I mean? Like you see that character going in a different direction. You start, you know what I mean? Like, but it's doing that slow burn. Like he's not automatically going and engaging. And that's what I think this could have benefited from.
Yeah, man, I'm excited to see where Robert goes next. I'm quite the fan of him, especially after that segment with him and Zion Quinn. I don't know how many weeks ago it was.
Oh,
Uh,
the
that was
stand.
ridiculous. Yeah.
Yeah, that was
But he showed so much. And then, like the fact I saw him, have that short match with him, I thought, God damn, like he's still pretty good, man.
dude, he's a phenomenal worker, bro. Like, just absolutely amazing, bro. But after that, man, we saw the MSK promo, and dude, I don't know if you've seen our NXT review before, bro, but like, I predicted this shit when they first went on the search for their shaman or whatever the fuck it was. I said, what's the bet? It's going to be Matt Riddle, and it's going to be like the three stoners, and they're going to be like, bro, for about 3 weeks. And long and fucking behold, and like, what are we seeing? We're seeing, yeah, bro, like high times, man. You need to call out Imperium. You know what I mean? Like, Riddle's just a poor man's RVD at this stage, man. Like, let's be honest. And MSK, they're just making him look like jokes every single week.
Yeah, dude. Oh man. I mean, I know that it was a little tongue in cheek, and they did mention it during one of these vignettes where they were searching for their shaman. But why would it take you 5 weeks to get to someone's house within the country that you live in? It was ridiculous, and I was really excited to see who it was going to be. But then when I saw it was Riddle, I'm like, well, how far can you really go with this partnership? Because he's on Raw, he's on the main roster. He's not going to be showing up to NXT every week. Is it always going to be this? Is he going to keep showing up on the Titantron? I know that's an old phrase now, but is that what this is going to be? I mean, it's exciting. He'll be there next week, I suppose, and Walter will be there. I'm sure you haven't got to that bit yet, but that's something at least. But I'm not really invested in the story, no.
Do you think like what the big plan is? Because they seem to be bringing in AJ Styles, Riddle, and obviously Walter is sort of on again, off again, but like they're really stacking up this New Year's Eve show. I think they're definitely going out to really, solidify, that NXT isn't just going to be like up and comers in WWE. I think they're going to start bringing a lot more crossover from that. We saw it with Finn Balor. Do I think they're going to send Roman Reigns down to NXT? Maybe for a one-night deal, just to sort of like, they could do something cool with him and, Solo Sikoa, and the Usos, you know what I mean? Like they could have that face-off. But I think they're definitely going to start doing that more in 2022, just to bring more eyes onto the NXT brand.
Yeah, I think that would be a smart way to go about it, because what they had built up with the black and gold era, I suppose, they had those takeover events in big arenas, and they seem to do okay crowd-wise. Not sure if at this stage 2.0, if the characters have been, established enough to bring in a crowd of that size. So that's why I guess they're not even takeovers anymore. They're specials. They're still in that little arena that they've got there, even though they make it a little bit bigger with more fans there. So I think whilst they're getting those names of those characters out there and getting them exposure, they're probably going to bring in some of the main roster guys just to, I guess, get the eyeballs and from the people, and hopefully that'll lead to them being able to have these specials in bigger arenas. I don't know. That's just my thought process off the top of my head.
Yeah, no, I definitely think that's most likely the thing, because like you're looking at, them trying to sort of expand NXT. Like, do you think that they could go into a Raw-sized arena and fill it? I don't even think Raw can go in a Raw-sized arena and fill it, to be honest. But
yeah, it's a bit strange, isn't it? I don't know. I don't think right now, but in a year's time, let's see where it's at.
Oh, 100%. Up next, we had Haaland with Joe Gacy set to go up against Brian Kendrick. Kendrick's music hit, but he no shows. Dude, I think that's like card subject to change. I was excited to see Kendrick back, and he's one performer that would have been able to get in there against someone like Haaland, sold his ass off for Haaland, and made him look like $1 million. And I don't know why they didn't have that match. but we saw Andre Chase come out. But before we get into Andre Chase, what are your thoughts on Joe Gacy and this whole Harlan thing?
I am loving Joe Gacy. I really am enjoying the character. I am a little confused by the by them being a duo. But I guess I kind of understand it in a way. Maybe he's made Harlan his a disciple, Snowflake. I suppose you could say. Yeah, it's interesting. It is interesting. I'm very entertained by Joe Gacy because there've been several instances where he's done things that I'm not even sure if the comedy was intended, but it was a few weeks ago. He was supposed to have a match with somebody who got attacked on the way to the ring. And whilst this big brawl was taking place between the two of those guys, he just, without the camera on him, the character would have thought to himself, okay, the match is definitely not happening now. Grabs a chair, places it in the ring, sits down on the chair. Once the brawl's gone to the back, he's sitting there. Now he's just taken over the show. Like, I don't know. It popped me. It popped me the way that the character is. He's a little delusional.
You know what? It's almost like, and again, I've said this before, but it's like it's making fun of the woke culture. You know what I mean? Like it's very much like, as he says, "Oh, my little snowflakes," and being inclusive and everything like that, and we and they, and and very much like poking the bear at that stage. And I fear for Gacy being such a good performer, if he could really play it right, he could actually work himself out of a job.
I did Roderick Strong was weight shaming as cruiserweight champion. That
was absolutely brilliant. And I think that seeing Harlan with him, like it's definitely going that sort of almost like Charles Manson type vibe. You know what I mean? Like there's like a little twist of that in there, and I think it's like the 60s music and the peace signs and shit like that. I think that's where I get that vibe from. But yeah, man, like I think that it's I really enjoy the character. The match against Andre Chase, bro, he just man, this guy just looks like a scary motherfucker, bro. And he just beat the living fuck out of a man. Him and his fucking protege, bro. They just beat the fucking brakes off those motherfuckers, bro. That was like brutal to watch almost.
Yeah, man. I didn't mind it, but man, I wasn't a fan of the referee stoppage bullshit. I don't like that. I don't see how that was a point. Like, yeah, he was beating the hell out of him, but I don't see why that would be a point to say, okay, the match is over. Like, just to me, I don't like the referee stoppage thing. Pinfall, it's fine.
Yeah, well, you know what? The pinfall would have looked more menacing, but again, it's like if the guy's too injured to even continue, But I get where you're coming from. Have the pinfall and have him looking up, like, give him that sort of like, that moment to sort of, look in there and sort of like self-loathing shit type thing, and then get him over as a heel, like looking like that. Then he's like standing there and Gacy pulls him off and they have their hug and move on to the next sort of shit that's going on. But man, I really like the look of Harlan. They've actually like labeled this guy the next Lesnar, which
big shoes to fill.
And he's a big motherfucker, bro. Like this guy is huge, bro. Parker Bordeaux, or AKA Harlan, man. But absolutely, absolutely a monster, man. All right, he looks like he's already the size of Lesnar.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind seeing him without the outfit on because I just want to see what he actually looks like, or if maybe he's working out really hard at the moment, and maybe they're not happy with his body. I don't know. I need to Google him.
This motherfucker is jacked to the.
Is he jacked? Ball. Okay,
right. He's jacked, bro. But next we saw Legado del Fantasma backstage segment looking for Elektra Lopez. They're looking for answers. Again, man, like they're just, I don't know, like they're pushing it too quick. You know what I mean? I think that they've got a good another month or two of storyline and build to this.
Yeah, you're right. But the one thing I did like about this, at least we see people in a different part of the building. For too long on NXT, and at least it happened a few times, and the last few weeks, I suppose, as well. But too often in a lot of wrestling companies on television right now, they're always in the same spot when things take place. So at least that's one positive I took out of this segment, was that we saw a different part of the building.
Yeah, 100%. And we saw Solo Sikoa kind of like walk through a doorway, and then they get offended by it. Like, I was like, you can't walk through a door.
That's the laziest way of finding pretense to wanting to get people in the ring to fight each other. That is lazy. Did anything happen last week between them? I didn't watch, but this is it. Okay. So they spent 2 minutes thinking, oh, well, we'll just have him accidentally interrupt them. Like, he said sorry.
Yeah. You have anger issues. But you know what? Like, Solo Sikoa, man, like, this guy is absolutely, bro. He's got youth on his side. He's got the family connection on his side. This guy is a star, bro. Like, he's going to be one of those guys. I don't think he's going to be like a charismatic like star, like the Rock's kind of star, but I mean, like, he's going to be a main event level player in WWE within the next 10 years.
Yeah, definitely. You can totally see it's in the blood, isn't it?
Yeah, dude. Like, he's that next generation of that Anawahi, Fatu family. You know what I mean? Coming up, you definitely sort of see that, man. And like, even his matches, like going in there, bro, like, he looks good. You know what I mean? Same with like a Bron Breakker, who have been doing this for like 7 months, man, or only a limited amount of time. They just look so good at it. And I think, like, you think, okay, family connection, they must have been doing this their whole lives, but in reality, they probably haven't.
Yeah, there must be something in the water down there in Samoa, bro. There has to be.
Oh, dude. But let me ask you this: what do you think of Tiffany Stratton versus Fallon Henley?
It was okay. I think she did a good job up until where she kind of messed up the springboard into the corner. I'm assuming NXT, does that shit roll live when they?
Yeah.
Okay. Right.
I believe so. I believe it's live. Fair enough.
Yeah, that kind of took the air out of the building there a little bit, but I like the character, and I know a few weeks ago, Mr. Brian Alvarez. Not sure if you're a fan of his or not, bro, but Alvarez went on his little show and said that they're going to nix the Stratton character because of something that he said about it, because he thought it was like creepy that she was saying daddy, and do we really need characters like this in 2021? And it's like, dude, I didn't see anything creepy in that. Some rich girls call their dad daddy. Like, it's a character. If you're looking for something creepy or weird in that you're going to find it. That's what he did. And he thought that because he said that they were going to nix the character. Well, guess what, Alvarez? The character's still on TV and it just debuted. What's your fucking rebuttal to that, Mr. fucking know-it-all?
Bro, Alvarez's head is so far up his ass, he doesn't know what fucking day it is, bro. Like, to be honest, you look at, like, the Tiffany Stratton character, like, rich girl, daddy. Like, if you've ever seen, like, Mean Girls or fucking, Legally Blonde or Clueless or anything like that, it's a throwback. It's a character along those lines. And there's people out there that are like that. And it's like, you know what? If you're gonna find sexual, connotation in something like that, it's because you're a sick fuck that looks for something like that. And that's just what it is, bro. Like, people see, like, I think in entertainment business, a man and a female together, and they automatically go to that sexual level. And whether it's like, oh, daddy, like, okay, you think like she's referring to her sugar daddy? Like, what the fuck? Like, it's very clearly making out she's referring to her father. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know.
Bro, it's just like, yes, there are human beings that are actually like this. You know, my co-host on my old NXT show that we don't do anymore, that's exactly what he said. He said it reminded him of the character from Clueless. And when you see this character come out and get her comeuppance, you want to see the snobby girl get the comeuppance against her. You want to see that. It's a character. And I think he was a bit concerned because, you know, the vignette was showing her legs. Well, shit, dude. She's been fucking working her ass off on her body. I think she maybe wants to show it off. And if she had a problem with it, I'm sure she would say, "Hey, don't you think you're focusing in on my legs and my butt in my little tennis skirt too much?" No, they weren't showing her face yet. And then the next week, what did you see? You saw her doing gymnastics and all this shit. So,
and exactly, bro. She's a gymnast. She's like. It's just, like I said, people finding shit into something that doesn't need to be like, bro, like it's a unique character. Like I can't recall seeing something like this done before on a WWE NXT or anything like on a major television. So I think it's a good character. I think it's cool. I like the way that her body language was. I think that did really well. Timing was a bit off, that the elbow into the corner, like that to me, like as you said, it was. But we also have to like understand, bro, that this is probably her first match in front of people, and it was in front of like how many hundred, you know what I mean? Like a couple of thousand people. Like, you know what I mean? Most performers who have their first match is maybe in front of like 30, 40 people, 50, 100. Like, that's a lot of pressure, man, for your first match.
Yeah, bro. Well, we can't all be as good as Hook is, apparently. So don't get me started on that rant. I'll tell you right now. I am. Oh
yeah, man. I want to ask you more about that later. But regardless, we saw Tiffany go over strong. No question that they were going to put her over. Like I said, timing and the build to the finish needs to be worked a little bit better. I've got interest in gimmick. I enjoyed it. I thought it was good. I've been enjoying the promos. I think they keep going the way they've been going with it. I think fuck Alvarez.
Yeah, imagine she crosses paths with Cameron Grimes. Now, wouldn't that be interesting? Wouldn't that be interesting? The rich girl meets the rich guy who's not quite
it's like
her.
Southern Comfort. It's like Southern Comfort, bro. They could. Oh man, they've already done the index wedding, bro. But that could be the next thing.
So just coming up with ideas at the top of their heads, bro.
There you go, man. They should get us booking. Okay, so next we had the contract signing for the title unification match. Dude, let me ask you this, right? So they said that Roderick Strong has beaten every cruiserweight there was, but yet he's defended the belt once or twice. You know what I mean? Like he won the belt. Like, they had all these cruiserweights under contract. They've got all these guys. They could have really had him do like a Goldberg style winning streak. You know what I mean? Like defending the title. Like what was he doing otherwise? You know what I mean? Like build him up, build that title up, and then eventually get to the unification match. Do it on Mania weekend. You know what I mean? Do it during that. You know what I mean? Like that to me would be the most like common logical thing to do, where it's like build Roddy up, you get him right up to the top, boom, then he unifies the both belts. Because like let's face it, he's gone from undisputed era to Diamond Mind. Yes, he's the cruiserweight champion, but what's he really done?
I get you, bro. If I had my way, because look, they started this 205 Live thing a few years ago. I don't know why they still do the show, because they don't even have any of the cruiserweights on there. It's half, heavyweights now. So if I had my way, they would have done things like bring in old school cruiserweights, bring in your Psychosis, bring in your Hoovy, do like a new school versus old school, get the new school over, maybe have a couple of those like veterans stick around and really make something of it. I don't know why they just seem to always shit on this cruiserweight thing. You know, they did a good job with it back in the day when like Tajiri was cruiserweight champion, but then it got to, you know, your time when there's like Hornswoggle was the cruiserweight champion. They got rid of it. They brought it back. It seems like now that Triple H is, you know, taking some time away, they're just getting rid of all the things that he implemented. So I think it's a shame for the Cruiserweight Championship. I think it could have been utilized better. I think it's a shame that, they just haven't, you know, done more with it.
You know, absolutely. I agree. I think that they could have definitely built Roddy up, and then you kind of built Roddy up to go into that next level after that as like a main event competitor, because he's at that level. He's an amazing worker. He's amazing in the ring. Give him a decent storyline with this. You know what I mean?
Man.
Like, it's like if you want to get rid of the cruiserweight title, okay, cool, but do it in a way which builds this guy up even more.
Yeah, man. Like even to just expand on the idea I had before, imagine every week on 205 or on NXT, a cruiserweight guy from the past comes out. Brian Kendrick comes out to challenge him. Who else is there? You know, maybe like a Paul London or, you know, all of these types of guys that you recognize the name of. Get him the win, and then you build it all the way up until you get to Mania weekend and, you know, have this unification match with Carmelo Hayes or whoever the North American champion is.
But you know what, as well, like another thing you could do on that is also getting like some of the top indie stars and have like, you know what I mean, for one shot deal, come in, hey, Casey Navarro is going to wrestle Roderick Strong for the Cruiserweight Championship. You know what I mean? Next week, Jordan Oliver is going to, you know what I mean? Like, they're just like, you're also checking out, getting a closer look at some of these other guys, but also then you're like getting credible names that people have heard of. And the NXT crowd is probably more into the independent style of wrestling and is across and know who these guys are as well.
Yeah. But instead they're just going to just do what they're going to do. So that's,
they're just going to fucking, we'll just shut the fuck up and complain about it. But I thought it was a decent segment, man. The only thing I thought was like the back and forth with, you know, with Trick Williams and Malcolm Bivens. I just thought, man, what the, like, come on, man. Like, just because you've got two black performers doesn't mean you can sort of have them sit there and be like, you know what I mean? Like, it just felt like it was such a load of shit, that whole segment. It was just both of them looked goofy.
You know why they did it?
Why?
Because someone's got to go through the table in a contract signing. So they had to think of a way to start something off that would lead to someone going through the table. And maybe they didn't want to put Carmelo through it. So they're like, okay, how can we get Trick to be the one to have to go through it, even though this isn't about him really whatsoever. He's flanking the dude that's in the match itself. That's what I was thinking. And one thing I was thinking as the back and forth was going on, that this came across very contrived. It came across like, you know, and contrived, the meaning, created or arranged in a way that seems artificial and unrealistic. I get that a lot when I watch WWE programming. Artificial and unrealistic. People don't act like this in real life. I don't know. And the verbiage sometimes is just like it's the same promos over and over again. I don't know, man.
I agree. I kind of got the feeling it was very, very like it was very scripted. It was very pre-planned, and you could definitely see through that, man. And to be honest, Malcolm Bivens, I enjoy his work. I'm not going to lie, but I felt like this week was like, you know, pulling that racial thing a little bit. I just thought it was just not needed. You know what I mean? Like, Malcolm Bivens is good on the mic. He didn't need to go down that road, and I don't think they should have had him go down that road.
Nah.
You know. But after that, man, we saw Solo Sikoa versus Santos Escobar.
Yeah.
What do you think of that one?
I did not like the match at all, man.
Really?
I did not. I thought it was very slow. I was waiting for it to kick into the next gear. I thought Sikoa was selling way too much for Santos Escobar. I thought Sikoa, and usually I've been like impressed with him, but I thought his fire seemed a little stuck in the mud in this match. I don't know what was going. I just feel like something wasn't clicking between the two of them. The finish was okay. But and then of course the end of the scene where they're all just standing there silently staring at one another was just another typical end to a segment. I don't know. That's just me, man. I just felt like I was getting impatient as I was watching the match take place.
I felt the same way, man. Like I sat there watching it, and I was like, you know what? I'm excited. I like both of these performers. I think Santos Escobar is probably one of the best in-ring performers on the roster. I think he's well overdue. But this match to me, just I've seen better performances of both guys, and I wasn't really. I was disappointed with it, to be honest. I was looking forward. I thought this could have been match of the night.
Yeah, like I knowing that these two were going one-on-one, I was like, this should be good. This should be good. And there was just a lot of holds, a lot of selling from Sikoa. I just thought it took too long for him to fight from under. I don't think he should really be fighting from under at this stage yet. During most of a match, I think at this stage it should have been really difficult for Santos to get that advantage, and there should have been some more dastardly tactics in order to get him there. He's got a whole tag team there at ringside that could have helped him out a bit more as well, but I don't know, man.
I mean, it's like sometimes they book, Legado del Fantasma really well, and it's like other times it's just like they just make him look like clowns. And it's like they did that when they had like their feud with Hit Row, and then it's like you see like Be Real and Elektra Lopez are like fighting in the ring, and they're like on the ground, and like Be Real's on top of them, and Legado del Fantasma, the three guys are standing right there just like watching, and then like Hit Row on the outside of the ring is like, you just made your heels look like fucking idiots. Like, why are they going to stand there and watch their girl get her ass beat? Like, what the fuck?
I don't know, man. It's a little bit up and down with these guys at the moment. The whole stories, yeah.
Oh, bro, it's just again, like hit and miss with NXT, bro. Like Von Wagner versus Malik Black,
Malik Blade.
Malik Blade. Sorry, I couldn't even read my own handwriting. Dude, like Von Wagner, like I'm enjoying him now. Like when he was a babyface, man, he was just so fucking dull. Like now, like with him being a heel, like he's like, all right, he's an angry heel, but what's he angry about? Okay, like let's start seeing more of like the logic and what the reason is behind his anger. Like, why is he getting pissed off? Like, okay, he lost a match. He's going to go out there. He's going to prove a point. Looked impressive in the ring this week, and I think he's definitely getting better and better. But I want to see more. I'd like to see more of a development from the character from him to see like if I'm invested or not.
I agree, man. It seems like we're agreeing quite a lot. It feels like great minds think alike. Wagner, he's more suited to wrestling like a heel, just like his dad. And we need to know why he's angry. Okay, I get that he was mad at Kyle O'Reilly because they didn't win the fucking tag titles. Okay, like I get that, but that's not really a good reason to constitute the guy's complete attitude from here on being horrible. We need to know if there's something that's underlying about him. Maybe something from his past bothers him. I don't know. But they could be doing a lot more with him. Maybe that he's just stuck in the middle of things right now until they really can find an angle for him to get involved with.
Yeah, no, I completely agree.
Hey, can I ask you something?
Mm-hmm.
What did you think of Haaland on the roof with I think it happened earlier in the show. Haaland was on the roof with Gacy carrying the student like he was going to throw him off the roof, and then he didn't. What did you think of that?
That's pushing the line, man. That's really pushing the line. And you know what? I like it. I like it because it's controversial shit. It's really big shit, but like I don't see them like I mean. I don't think that they're pushing the limit with NXT, and I wonder what that limit's going to be. Like we're starting to see more swearing being implemented. more sexual innuendos in certain things and interactions between the female and male talents. And definitely getting more of that vibe. I think they're going to really try and push that limit with NXT.
Yeah, I personally, I think he should have thrown him off the roof.
It would have been interesting to see where they went with it, but man, like Von Wagner, he got the win over Malik Blade. Couple of rough spots in the match, man, that I saw. Like one of the landings, that Blade took looked really nasty, and they even acknowledged it as a nasty landing, which makes me think, like, did they plan to do that sort of landing? But like it looked like it was a botched landing.
Yeah, I think Malik gave it a bit too much of a jump, and Von Wagner thought he was probably just going to be using his brute strength to get him to a certain spot on that bump. But good for Wade Barrett to be there on commentary and mention that, I suppose.
Oh, 100%. But final match was Cora Jade and Raquel Gonzalez versus Kaylee Ray and Io Shirai. Oh, man. I don't even know where to begin with this one. I'll let you take it.
Oh, mate. Well, this match had one of my favorites, Kaylee fucking Ray. She's from fucking Scotland. She's from fucking Scotland.
Brother.
There was one moment in the match that I liked. There was a couple of dives from KLR and Shirai to the outside before they went to what I hate the most on NXT, and that's picture-in-picture commercials. So I thought they were two great realistic dives that were set up via happenstance. Gonzalez just turns around and gets hit with the dive, not just standing there waiting for a dive to happen. So that was good. But then there was a dive after the commercial break from Kaylee Ray that looked like a running cuddle to the outside on Gonzalez. But I guess the moment of the match I hated the most was, why would Raquel stop the pin? I know Cora Jade made the blind tag as she had hit one of her devastating maneuvers, but does it matter? Because the winning tag team go into a triple threat match. It doesn't matter if Gonzalez, it just, sometimes when they do things like that, it's just for the sake of it, and they're not really looking at what makes sense. Did not make sense for her to be annoyed at Cora trying to steal the pin. It's
ego. That's the only way that you could really sell it then. But then, like, wouldn't you wait till after the match and then have Gonzalez stick it to Jade?
Yeah, why not? Instead of having them just stare at each other, I would have had Gonzalez and Cora Jade. Yeah, maybe they're brawling with one another, and then out of nowhere, because I was upset that they weren't on the show, my homegirl there, Gigi Dolan, and JC Jane could have come out, blindsided both of them as we go off the air. The Mandy said that she's given them the night off. Well, maybe that she said that to set up them coming out, laying them out to weaken them for, New Year's Evil. Just another idea off the top of my head, bro.
And that's why, man, they call you the best on the West Coast, my friend. But, I think overall this show was just like, there was nothing really spectacular to it. Good lead up, with for Waller going up against AJ Styles. Good build, but I think for Raquel Gonzalez going, and also Cora Jade going into that match, I honestly think they're going to have Cora Jade win the title and do a fluke roll up. And like, you've seen her get those wins out of nowhere as a fluke thing. It could make sense in their world to do it that way. But I really don't want to see them take the title off Mandy. I think give her a lengthy reign with it.
Yeah, I'd say keep that thing going until WrestleMania weekend and build something up over a longer period of time if they're going to do that. But I would also want Mandy to win that belt back very soon and continue on that run for at least another 6 months to a year before finally bringing up the Toxic Attraction team to the main roster and have them run roughshod, bro.
That's a pretty good idea, man. Like they're like, there's no real stable there, I think, at the moment. Like, I think they could really come on and shake things up on Raw and SmackDown.
Don't split them up for years. Just
Yeah,
when it's time, then you can get GG or JC, up into the upper echelon as well.
100%. I agree with you, man. But look, that's been NXT Roundup for the week. Thank you very much to my guest host, the best on the West Coast, Karlifornia. Bro, where can everyone find you, support you, and check out your amazing work?
Oh, bro, there's so many places that you can find us. If you type in WZWA Network, you will find us on YouTube. You will find us on Twitch. You will find us on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. You could even find us on Tumblr. For whatever reason, we made a Tumblr account just because. We made a DeviantArt account. I don't know why. We just wanted to get our name on every single possible thing you can have out there. But the main thing is our YouTube channel. I've also got my podcast, the Insider's Edge podcast. My interview with Chris Candido's brother, Johnny Candido, just went up yesterday. And we've got quite a lot of interesting and exciting ones coming up after that. And the other shout out I want to give out to is anyone out there that likes or used to like the old IRC chat. If you go onto the Ryzen Network, RIZON, the Ryzen Network, and go to a chat room, #wrestling, a great bunch of people there to have a conversation about wrestling too. It's old school. This is something that was out even before MSN Messenger, bro. So that's it's a cool little community. And the only other plug I also wanted to give was that the WCWA Network can now be found on ProWrestlingTees.com. We are now selling some merchandise on there.
Well, there you go. Make sure you go check them out. Big shout out to our sponsors, Sleeves.com, your one-stop shop for all your athletic wear. You can pick up armbands, compression pants, compression shorts, headbands, knee bands, even dirty boxes, guys. So check them out. Use promo code MWAPOD to get a 10% discount on your final purchase. Next up is healthvape.com. If you're a smoker or a vapor and you want a healthier lifestyle, it's coming to that New Year's Eve. It's a New Year's resolution. You, me, you, everybody. Why not check out healthvape.com? All their products are no nicotine, no addictive or harmful chemicals, and they are vitamin infused. So check them out, guys, and use that promo code MWAPOD to get a 10% discount on that final purchase. But guys, make sure you check out all of the amazing shows that we got at the MWA Podcast Network, from Killing the Business to Knights of the Gimmick Table to Get Funked to the Funkin' Kingpin Show, Wrestling with Sports, NXT Roundup, and Shooting the Fucking Shit. But guys, we've got you covered, so make sure you hit that subscribe button, hit that share button, hit that like button. If you're listening on a podcast platform, give us a 5-star review. And guys, thank you for joining us. And until next time, we will see you again very, very soon. Till then, peace out.